Hello, hello. Danny B, Silver Hair Rebellion. This is where I talk about everything to do with aging well. It can be health, it can be fitness, it can be finances, it can be habits, it can be organization, it can be freeing your mind as well as your body and getting better every day. That's kind of what I like in almost every area. It can be hobbies. I really like to do knitting. I'm going to start soap making again. Anything natural I really like. Anything healthy I really like. Anything that makes you happy and peaceful and takes stress away. That's a big thing for me because it has been a big part of the later years in my life. I've always been a bit of an ADHD type person, so I have spent a lot of my life rushing and stressing and in disorganization and stuff like that. So I'll be talking about a lot of that stuff. So what I would like to say today is that it's a lot about our attitude and making ourselves old before we need to be, because we think we're old. And, you know, we hear a lot about how people don't feel their age. They actually still think that they're 20 in a 60 body, and that does kind of make sense, and I feel that too. But it also goes on the other end of the scale. If you're in your 50s or your 60s or your 70s or even your 80s, you don't need to be feeling like you're finished. What really made me see this was one day I was realizing that yes, I was feeling really old, and I do look a lot older than I did even 5 years ago. I aged overnight because of stress. I actually used to be one of those people that looked 15 years younger, and I had great health. But stress is really not a good thing in your life. Anyway, I did realize though, I had given up. I thought, okay, well that's it. Like this, all these years of all this stuff going on has ruined me. But then I realized I wasn't working out, I wasn't drinking water, I wasn't eating properly, I was eating enormous amounts of sugar, I was still stressed, I wasn't doing anything enjoyable, I wasn't doing my hobbies, I wasn't reading, which I really like to do. I really had nothing that was bringing me forward. I was very, very nervous about finances. My house was a stinking mess, I will tell you, for a lot of reasons, which I'll get into in some other videos. So I have spent a couple of years getting everything under control. Really excited now because I have actually, I think, cycled my way out of a toxic job, and I'm going to start working for myself. I'm going to have a small greenhouse here that I'm going to sell out of, and I'm going to sell handmade natural items, both myself and on consignment. Knitting, natural soap, that kind of stuff. Sticks. I'm gonna make some artwork out of some of the sticks out here, like wands and walking sticks. Probably won't be functional. I've already done a few and I really, really enjoy them. And just all kinds of stuff. I'm really excited. Of course, I'm a little scared, and that's what else comes in. A lot of stuff that we can do to improve ourselves at any age. You can pick any age that you are, and you can make yourself feel a little better unless you're already at peak performance, which is great. And if you are, I would love to hear what works for you. Maybe you can let us know in the comments, because it does get different as we get older. It's not like we're all going to go hit the gym every morning at 6 a.m. Although we could, and lots of people do. For me, I say that because I don't live near a gym. I work out at my house. If you have the best shape of my life I was in was when I had a dedicated workout area. I have puttered along with that, trying to get one again, but I haven't done it for a while. I need to still get things a little more organized. But anyway, if you can have a dedicated workout area, all the better for you. If you can find workouts that you really enjoy, all the better for you. But anyway, I don't have a gym near me. If you do, and you don't have space or you enjoy it, like I really like to just work out. I used to call it my me time, and I don't understand why. I just can't get in that mindset again. I just don't know. I know that a lot of it is because I have got a lot of responsibilities with these animals I took on since then that I hadn't before. It's been very stressful. They are the loves of my life besides my kids. but it takes a lot of time. I basically have 2 chore periods in the morning to get through before I can even do anything. And I do need coffee time. And I walk the guys twice a day. There's all kinds of cleanup. You ever seen 5 dog hairs? 5 dogs hair in a house, as well as paw prints, and a couple of them are not fully house trained. It isn't that they're not, it just they have been traumatized in their life and they're non-responsive. They do okay, but I have a pee mat in their room that they use, and this little girl here is just beautiful. She'd make a lovely pet, but she just refuses to go outside sometimes, and I'm not sure. We're going to do a bigger dog yard next year. I think it actually is just because she is so clean. She doesn't like to go out in the yard. Not that it's a filthy mess. They go out enough that it's not that bad. But she'll only go out when it's cold out. In the summer, I have a heck of a time. I have to take her around extra. So anyway, everybody has their challenges. But again, it's a mindset. I hear over and over, and I preach myself. As we are getting older, our biggest resource is our health. What I do have going for me is that when I was younger, I did take pretty good care of my health, and I had some exceptionally good years when I was younger on taking care of my health. It was like my hobby was eating clean and working out. I was actually going to be a personal trainer or do classes, and I think I very well may still do that. I'm looking at this venture as probably another 10 years at least, maybe probably longer. So I'm trying not to rush myself or feel pressured, but that is something that's going to come up because I am very capable of doing it, and I think that it would be fun and everybody would like that. So that's just all kinds of stuff in my head that I'm thinking. So what I'd like you to do is start thinking about your own possibilities. If you're retired and a little bored and just not feeling like you have a mission in life anymore, what is something that you could do? It can be as simple as knitting warm things like hats and mitts and maybe socks, whatever you like to knit. Little things for the neck and stuff, headbands for the homeless. I have donated quite a lot of clothing that I had and some knits. I saw a girl outside the grocery store. It just broke my heart because she was about the same age as my daughter, and obviously she had been through a lot, and it was cold, and she was sitting there in her holey jeans, and she was desperate, and I gave her literally everything I had that I could, and I hope that she was able to use it well. And one of them was one of my hand knit scarves, but I love knitting them. I have lots. Another guy at my store was not my store, but where I was working at the grocery store. There's an outhouse, one of those porta potty things there. We found out he had been sleeping in it because I think he got dropped off by his parents. He wasn't a little kid. He was probably a teenager. And they were teaching him a lesson or something. He wasn't even from here. It was damn cold out. And I felt so bad when we finally realized. The store gave him some food. I went in and got it for him, and I drove home and got him some of my warm clothes because I didn't know at that point what was happening with him. And but the police came and they got a place for him overnight. I don't know what happened to him after that. But the horrible stuff that goes on in the world. And rather than get overwhelmed and depressed by it, which is easy to do, I like to think as the rest of my time, and I have more time now than I ever have, to be a light and to do something good in the world. And you can do that too, be it through almost anything that you do. Just keep it a mind out that how could you maybe help somebody else with it. And it can be even just being kind to somebody, saying a kind word. You know what? Somebody used to go through the grocery store, and he'd always give us a toonie, a $2 tip. And I tell you, that would make my day because the wages there are total crap. They're not livable. And just that $2 would feel like $1 million. And just the fact that somebody would think enough of us to do that, it just would make my day. And I'd feel rich. I'd feel rich. So keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. And it is all a mind game. You live in your own head. And this time that we have here is precious. And it is fleeting. We all know this. And my take on heaven and hell is the way you live your life. I'm not sure about religion, to be honest. I've never been able to quite figure it out. But I will say, yes, I do think that there is something. And somewhere we go, probably some kind of a judgment. But I fully believe, there is no doubt in my mind, that we also judge ourselves. And if we are at peace with our own self, we will be willing to let go a lot easier than if we feel like we have not given it our best shot, have not left this world a better place than we found it through our own actions or our own abilities. Do it because you can. That's what I always like to think. And that is my motto, leave the world a better place than I found it. I'd like to get a tattoo that says be a light. And I think we will leave it at that. It is a beautiful sunny day. What I had first meant to say is, are you getting out? Are you getting out on the beautiful days? Or are you finding yourself wound up watching YouTube or watching TV, cleaning your house, whatever? Try to get outside and enjoy this beautiful day that, yes, God has given us. Have a great day. If you could like or subscribe, by the way, I would really appreciate it. If you could share, if you could browse around the channel, if you could leave a comment, I would really appreciate anything you have to say. I'm always interested. It really, really perks up the channel because I feel like I'm talking to somebody, and I love to hear your advice and your thoughts. And it would help us all. I have a lot of mouths to feed around here. I have vet bills. I have all the normal stuff, and I would really appreciate it. It would help me out a lot. Thank you very much, and have a great day.